Welcome, everyone. I'm your host, Jeni Ji Cousins, and this is Soul to Soul Connections with Jeni Ji. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel to follow all episodes. You can follow me under Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter under Jeni Cousins. Now, on today's episode, I am deeply honored and have so much gratitude in my heart to interview the one and only Rainey Robinson from the hit television series Dogs Most Wanted and Dog and Beth on the Hunt, formerly. Thank you, Rainey, for joining me today. I have so much love and respect for you. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you for the invite. I appreciate it.
Oh, you're very welcome. Very welcome. I've been following you for a while and I just adore you, like totally adore you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. So we're going to start off asking you some questions here because you know I have a few questions.
Yes, you do.
I actually added a couple more.
Okay.
Oh, good Lord.
I'm ready.
Alrighty then. So now, what drew you into your work? When did you decide, I want to do this line of work?
Well, it's funny. I had done bonds for a long time, and bail was a little same type of bonds, but it was a little bit different. And I actually had a personal event happen in my family that it actually drew my attention to it. So I really started to look at that. But I really was interested in doing. My husband and I have always worked together. We've been together 27 years, married for
Wow.
25, and we always worked together and had all of our businesses together. And I thought, this would be something really kind of interesting that he may like. So I could just kind of like propel him along. And so we ended up getting licensed, and we ended up, opening a little bail office up in Northern California. And, me, I ended up being the executive director for the California Bail Agents Association, which at the time was the largest association in the United States for the most amount of bail. So that's how we met Dog and Beth.
Wow. Wow. How long have you been doing this for? Like, how long have you been in the industry for?
I've been in the bail industry since 2007.
Oh,
So
okay.
not terribly long. There's lots of people that have been in it 30
Mm-hmm.
years, 40 years, 50 years. I don't know that it makes you smarter. I just think that it makes it longer.
Oh, yeah, because you never know when one changes their career or moves into something.
Exactly. Well,
Yeah,
I've never been one to do the same thing for terribly long periods of time. I like to keep it moving. Yeah,
variety.
yeah,
Now you have your master's degree
I do.
with your work. What degrees do you have?
I have an undergraduate degree in criminal justice,
Hmm.
and then I have another graduate degree in undergraduate degree in business psychology,
Oh,
and then I have a master's in business. Yeah.
wonderful. When I was in high school, I wanted to be actually a police officer. But what stopped me was whenever I found out you had to hold a gun, carry a gun, and I'm like, I can't do that.
I can't do that. Well, you could have done some other stuff, but yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, I
it's
was gonna go around. Everybody says, no, you would have just went around there and just kind of counseled everyone spiritually. Everybody put down their weapons now.
let's all get along. Everyone get along. I know. That's
Yeah.
funny.
So now you grew up where in California? Did you have a happy childhood?
I was born actually in Maine, in
Oh, okay.
great state of Maine, and yeah, I traveled. We traveled out to California when I was just a young kid, but yeah, grew up out here, and I had many businesses and that kind of stuff. I've been here since 1964, so that's a long period of time.
Wow.
I wouldn't mind leaving as soon as I could find a place to go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How did you meet your husband? How did you meet David?
Believe it or not, I owned a restaurant and a gas station.
Oh, really?
And I had, I've owned about 17 different kinds of businesses, but and the restaurant and the gas station were right next door to each other. And his sister worked for me, and somebody actually called in sick, and she goes, "Let me call my brother and have my brother come in." He came in, That was all she wrote right there. I didn't say anything, but I thought, oh my gosh, this man, that is some sweet stuff right there. And we've been together 27 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing because I mean nowadays you know you hear people that married they're divorced within 3-4 years,
Yeah.
you know, so to hear of people being married that long, that's wonderful. Did
Oh,
you
I told him till death do us part. No, I meant that part. I meant till death do us part. I mean that. It's there is no other option.
it's like how you doing?
Exactly.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
had some of those moments. How you my I won't even say it, but I'll say it. My dentist, he's got it going on. So I have to go under gas because I'm just so fearful of dentists. And he comes in, it's okay, Jenny, everything is gonna be okay. And I looked at him last time, like, how you doing? You
How
know?
you doing?
Yeah, totally. I blame it on the gas.
Exactly, exactly. It's funny.
So if somebody came to you and they said, you know, I'm interested in getting involved with like the bonds, you know, bail bonds, surety, or being a bounty hunter, what would you tell somebody? Like what
Well,
advice would you give them?
yeah, they're actually two distinct things. You know, bounty hunting, you can do just bounty hunting, or you can do just bail, or you can do both. And most one feeds the other. You
Mm-hmm.
know, you have to write bail in order to, you know, do the bounty hunting, because you'll have a percentage of people that don't show up, or you know, they'll jump on. And most of the time, you know, it's you know, people miss their court dates and it's not
Mm-hmm.
intentional. Or we had that problem a lot in Hawaii.
Yeah.
You know, but and you know, so what I would say is it is a license that's issued by the Department of Insurance,
Mm-hmm.
and not every state in the United States has it. You can't. Oregon doesn't have commercial bail. Wisconsin, Illinois, Kentucky. Those are some of the places that don't. And it's in influx right now. It is a lot of the Democrats want to get rid of it, want to get
Oh.
rid of bail, even though it's been around for,
Mm.
you know, centuries and centuries. And it's going to be interesting to kind of see how it all plays out.
Yeah.
Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, because of the pandemic, issued a no bail, zero bail for everybody. So what that essentially means is that there are, you know, no consequences. You get cite and released. There's some
Wow.
jails here that won't even take them on violent felonies. The jails are closed. Don't even bring them.
Oh God. Yeah. Oh
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that would be a situation.
it is a situation and a half. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow. When you are bounty, like when you are doing bounty hunting, especially, do you carry weapons or is it like just tasers or
You know, well, I do. I carry a weapon. My husband carries a weapon, and they're handguns.
mm-hmm,
Uh,
yeah.
and some, he also carries a taser.
Mm-hmm.
He won't let me have one. It was that one time that he never forgave me. No. And then, you know, Leland carries weapons. And
Yes.
so a lot of us do, and a lot of us don't.
Yeah.
And, you know, Dog doesn't. He has a
Mm-hmm.
taser,
Mm-hmm.
and but he doesn't have, you know, a handgun.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's really kind of your preference. Beth
Mm-hmm.
would carry a taser. She never carried a gun.
Mm-hmm.
She had guns, but she wouldn't carry a gun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I guess it goes on your own comfort zone then.
definitely.
Because I've seen a few episodes where the mace has gone off.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, and we carry the mace more, yes, for definitely for people, but more so for animals,
Oh.
so the animals don't get shot.
Oh yeah,
Because we
okay.
just had a situation here just a couple weeks ago here in California where the property owner who was out on $150,000 bail sicked his dog on the bounty hunter. And you just, why would you do that to your animal? Why would you
Yeah.
do that?
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
and so you mace the dog goes away, and the dog doesn't get shot or killed or whatever, because
Yeah, of
they'll get
course.
shot or killed, you know. They're
Yeah.
doing what they're told to do.
Yeah, 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 I know. I was just not even thinking of doing that. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like people do that with their animals and stuff. Do you train people yourself? So if somebody says, can you train me to be like a bounty hunter, let's say, do you do that?
I don't do that. My husband does that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't do that. I'm more of the I am, believe it or not, I'm not hugely confrontational.
Mm-hmm.
I will confront, but I like to have the plan. I want to know
Mm-hmm.
the plan first. And always my preference is talking somebody in. Hey, listen,
Mm-hmm.
this you missed a court date. This is, it's an easy fix. Come on in. We don't need to scare mother or your
Mm-hmm.
kids or, I really don't like that
Yeah.
component of it. Some
Yeah.
of them
Yeah.
make it a game.
Yeah.
Dog, you're never going to catch me. Oh, well, just watch. Let's just watch and see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. So assessing kind of what the situation is, and knowing when to use a female and when to use a male, and there's a lot of psychology and a lot of stuff, behind it. But I really, my preference is to talk people in. And I'll
Yeah.
tell you, traveling with Dog and Beth and that, boy, nothing puts the pressure on a family like bringing that whole thing to town, because
Mm-hmm.
everyone knows you're in town. They know, Dog the
Yeah.
bounty hunter's in town. So
Mm-hmm.
you got like 48 hours, turn yourself in and all go away, So yeah.
I know it's funny whenever somebody says nobody can find me, you know what I mean? And it's like the last person I'd want running after me would be Dog.
You
You
know,
know what I mean? It's just like, okay, I turn myself in, right? Like,
listen, I know, and I've known them. I, knew Dog and Beth since like 2012, and trust and believe, I would not want to be in the crosshairs of either one of these people. And I love
yeah,
them to death. You know what I
yeah,
mean? But yeah, it's because they're relentless. They are
yeah.
relentless. Like some of these bounties, some like first couple of episodes of Dogs Most Wanted. Actually, there was like 4 episodes total. 2 of those bounties took 21 days to do. They're not easy.
No.
They some of them are straight up tough.
Mm-hmm.
And it's being relentless and getting them,
Mm-hmm.
and that it's hard when you have a lot of personalities and you're in a car and it's cold and everyone's got, no, I think he's going to be over here and I think he's going to, trying to weigh all of that stuff out can be really a challenge.
Yeah, because you put hours and hours and hours in, every day at all times of the night or day.
Oh, listen, there were many of those uh, when we were filming that. Many of those we didn't even get home until 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Because we'd be hunting a couple hours from our home, for wherever it was
Mm-hmm.
we were staying. But and it was especially grueling on Beth at the very end. But she was like she got so much life out of it because
Mm-hmm.
there were moments that she didn't have to think about that.
Yeah.
Didn't have to think about cancer.
Yeah.
And she was in her element and doing what she did. And we just let her, she wanted to pull over and have a sandwich. We got her a sandwich.
Mm-hmm.
She wanted to pull over and do this and sleep for 10 minutes or have me drive. She always hated it when I drive, when I drove. I'd always go, I'm driving precious cargo. She'd go, okay. Like, she'd be better. I'm driving the Queen. Okay, I'm okay. It was silly. It was crazy silly. But yeah, some of a lot of those bounties go, yeah, they don't do banker hours like we do.
No,
I mean,
no,
yeah.
no. Who has inspired you?
Oh my
Like,
gosh.
yeah, who's inspired, like who has inspired you and why? Like if
You
you call
know,
them a mentor.
I uh I get actually inspired by everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody inspires me. I love I'm really super attracted to calm and peace and innovation.
Mm-hmm.
And even like, through the struggles that we're in right now with the pandemic and whatnot, you know, through that, we're going to see innovation.
Mm-hmm.
And, through the death of any business will be the birth of many more. And this is like, we are just a tough nut group to like keep down,
Yeah.
and, keeping that in focus. So it's always very interesting to see what people are doing. So yeah, I think they're all my mentors. I look at everybody like they're my teachers.
Yeah. Yeah, I believe, we're all teachers and we all have our own unique abilities to help each other when we're open
Definitely.
to it. I mean, somebody could go just to the grocery store and, buy some milk, and the cashier could teach you something, or vice versa. And anybody.
And listen, some of the most challenging people in your life will teach you the most about yourself. They'll
Yes.
teach you how you respond, how you, they'll teach you how you're perceived,
Mm-hmm.
and they teach you a lot of things about yourself. And you're never too old to ever learn that, and
Mm-hmm.
to keep changing, because
Yeah.
it's fluid. Who you are today is not who you were 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And who you are today is not who you're going to be 10 years from now.
Yeah.
And so being receptive to all of that stuff that goes on.
Yeah. I know. We all get tested. As
Definitely.
we were talking even about earlier, we're all tested and so many ways, and it really comes down to how do we look at things.
Yeah.
And that's the hard point. That's the hardest part that I find. I'm like, okay, spirit, I'm getting tested with, whatever it is or situation. It's like, how am I going to respond to that? And like, what I'll do is I'll take like a traumatic experience or trauma, and I'll turn it around to the benefit of what did I learn from that and how did I grow to
Yeah.
push me, forward.
Yes. Yes. That's the lesson. And whatever that may be,
Hmm.
whatever lesson, and there could be several lessons in there
Oh,
too, you know, right?
I could write a book on how many lessons I fall down on.
Right, right, but it's part of it. It's
Yeah.
part of it. We're not going to be 100% successful at every single thing you do, but even in the things that are not successful, that
Hmm.
is a success. That
Yeah.
is a success. And
Yeah.
so it's really how we label it and how we move forward.
Hmm.
And being
Yeah.
kind. Got to be
Yeah.
kind to each other. Be
Yeah.
able to see it from somebody else's
Yeah.
perspective.
Absolutely. Because everybody's going to see their own perception of
Definitely.
anything. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? What they see, what they hear, and everybody's going to say something different.
I
So,
agree.
and that's just who they are.
Definitely. I
Yeah.
agree 1,000%. And it's funny, like even being in this industry, you often wonder what motivates people, what motivates them to do this or to do that. And there's some really, really common threads
Hmm.
on what motivates people. Of course, we all seek pleasure and run away
Hmm.
from, discomfort and all that stuff. But,
Yeah.
and through some of the discomfort, though, you can quiet them enough.
Hmm.
So, being restrained and in a back seat, and you go, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing? You have children.
Yeah.
You have people that look up to you. You're surrounded by people that love you. Why are you
Yeah.
behaving this way? You know, and just
Hmm.
sometimes when you take a person that really has no, if you will, no dog in the fight, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And, you know,
Hmm.
having someone jerk your chain for a second and
Yeah.
go, what you doing? Why you
Yeah.
doing that? You know?
And that was so good, because here he is catching them really, and then here's Beth softening them. So you have the male coming from dog, and yet the feminine coming from Beth, because even it doesn't matter who it is. I mean, my clients are all walks of the life as well, and I've taken like even a Hell's Angel away from all of that, and he was crying on his knees like thank you and
Yeah.
all of that, and I'm like, I'm just doing my work. That's what I do. And to see like even yourself, Franny, I mean, you have helped many people yourself. You have that genuine heart and authenticity, genuinity. And that's what I look at with people. I look at the real, the authenticness with everyone, and
I think for me, the most important thing is giving people permission
Mm-hmm.
to let go of a perception that they feel that they need to keep,
Mm-hmm.
that no longer serves them. This
Yeah.
doesn't serve you anymore.
Yeah.
We did an episode with a little girl that she was young. She's like 22, brand new baby.
Mm-hmm.
And she was just out kind of running amok and, really didn't, think that she had any consequences. And we got her in the car, and Beth was doing something with, she had a baby. She had the baby was with her, 9 months old, 10 months old. And we ended up getting the baby out and giving the father was standing right there. So we gave the baby to the father, and the baby's crying. The baby wants a mother. And I leaned into the car and I go, listen to that sound. You hear that sound? I go, never, never do what you're doing again, because you'll hear that sound again. I go,
Mm.
that's your baby wanting you, and he can't have you. And it's because of you,
Yeah.
you know? And so allowing people to, yes, you're going to make mistakes, but you're going to be
Mm-hmm.
okay. You're going to be okay. None of this stuff is
Mm-hmm.
fatal. The only thing
Yeah.
that's fatal is fatality. That's it.
Yeah.
You know
Because
what I
all
mean?
I need is just that person just to talk to,
Yeah.
and confide to. It's like, okay, I've gotten caught, let's say,
Yeah.
and now what? And it's so real, and that's one of the things I really like about you and Beth and Dog is because they do it from their heart to truly help
Yeah.
people. Even though you all, you're doing your work and your job and everything like that, but these fugitives and people who they catch, I can see, because I read into their energy, and I can really see what's going on with them. And just you know them looking at you and Dog and Bath and everyone, they're like, wow, like I I might have a chance now, because I've connected with the right people who understand me. They've been through it, they get me, and they can also help me heal and shift and change my life.
Oh,
That's why I
listen,
love the Chapmans and everybody, and you, Rainey. Like, I
thank
really
you.
do. A lot of
Thank you.
respect.
And I
Yeah.
really, they were absolute genuine.
Yeah.
When we would get, the chase was over, and
Yeah.
he'd love a good chase, and when the chase was over and all of that, I mean, he literally gave his phone number and
Yeah.
email and says, I want to know how you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And he responds to him.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, there's many things that you can do for a living, and you can make
Mm-hmm.
money doing lots of stuff. And then you find that one thing that you're destined to do. And
Mm-hmm.
that, and it's not like I was so destined to do that, but I was destined to be a part of something that was kind of magical. And that is the beauty of it.
Yeah, you're so good at
They,
it.
yeah, I mean, they were the masters at it, and made a really, it'd be hard to find a couple of people that really impacted as many people as they did
Mm-hmm.
on a
Yeah.
continual basis, as they
Yeah.
did. Yeah.
How did you meet Dog and Beth? Like,
So
how'd that come about?
I was the executive director for the California Bail Agents Association, and so we were having a convention up in South Lake Tahoe, and so a friend that was on the board says, "Hey, listen, I know Dog and Beth, and let's just invite them in, and
Mm.
they can do the little speech." And I said, "Okay, well, that's fine. So I'll do the little arrangements and stuff." So I didn't have a lot of experience with celebs or anything like that. I just figured they're just a couple of bail agents, right? So I got him this little suite. And it is funny because, everyone that knew Beth before, she definitely came with a warning label. They'd go, you know, you got to handle her just right. And I go, just watch the master here. So I got him up in their room, and it starts. She's calling the desk, and I said, Mrs. Dog, I'll be up in just a minute. So I went up to her room, introduced myself, and I said, I'll get this fixed. So I go downstairs to VIP, and they couldn't do anything that night. But the next night, I the uh, the manager says, meet me over at this elevator. So I walk over. It was a private elevator.
Mm.
Now, I'd been in this casino probably 40 times. I never even knew that it had this floor. So we take this private elevator up, and the butler's standing there, open these glass doors. We walk in, and it's this 5,000 square foot little
Wow.
overlooking South Lake Tahoe. And I looked at this and I went, oh, this is very nice. This is really nice. And so I walked out and I called Beth and I said, meet me at the elevator, come on up, see if this room will be suitable. She walked in, she looked, she goes, oh yeah, this will do. And then we were BFFs right from that. So she said, she goes, hey, listen, they had just gotten canceled on A&E.
Yeah.
Just gotten canceled. She goes,
Mhm.
how would you like to come over? Would you consider coming over and running Decline bail bonds? I
Mm.
said, absolutely.
Yeah.
I would absolutely. So I was very excited, and I was on a plane at the end of the week and went over, and that's how I started over there. Worked over there for about 5 years.
Wow. On Oahu.
Yeah, on Oahu. Yeah,
Yeah.
we wrote bail on every island, but
Hmm.
Oahu is where I lived. Yeah.
Did you go, so if you had to pick, because I've been to all the islands and I love them all for their own reasons.
Yes.
What is your favorite island in Hawaii? Like,
Believe it or not, my least favorite before I lived there was Oahu.
yeah.
And then it actually became my favorite. And I
Oh.
actually loved it. Yeah, I lived out in Waimanalo, which is on the backside of Oahu, and it's just beautiful out there.
Hmm.
Just
Yeah.
beautiful. And I liked it because it's the most populous state of the islands, has 1 billion people on it. And you can get in and out, and there are some parts I don't like very much. I
Yeah.
don't like, the downtown part. It's
Hmm.
too congested, a lot of,
Yeah.
traffic and stuff. But yeah, it ended up being my favorite. But I love Maui because Maui's very garden-esque, and I like that. I love Hawaii. It's beautiful there. Big island. It's every flavor of lava you could possibly find,
Yeah.
and all different. Yeah,
Yeah, I
and the
agree.
people are different in each
Yeah.
one. They
I
behave.
noticed that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I noticed because last year I was at the Big Island, and then after that I went over to Maui, and that was the first time I was actually on the Big Island because I've been around to the other islands a few times, and I found that the Big Island was very different than
Yeah.
the other islands. I love the Big Island because of
Yeah.
its diversity.
Yes.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love Kona. I stayed in Kona.
Yep. Kona is beautiful, and then
Yeah,
just over on the other side, the Hilo side is gorgeous too.
yeah,
Takes a long time to drive over there, but it's beautiful.
yeah. I went on a tour, like
Yeah,
tour of the whole island, and I
yeah,
love it. I'll go back. Like I'll definitely go back and spend more time there.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I'd love to move there someday. Who
Well,
knows?
listen, Kaleo, who's dog's bodyguard, he's just a sweetheart. His wife does all the real estate for everybody over there, so she's a good local girl.
That's
She'll be able to
wonderful.
hook you up. Yeah.
Oh God, yeah. Oh God, if spirit moved me over.
No, right? Yeah, I'd live on the Big Island. I
Yeah,
would definitely, if I ever moved back, I would probably live on the Big Island. It's
yeah,
beautiful.
yeah. I loved it. I just everything. Every time I go over there, I cry when I have to come home.
I know. Don't your feet feel different when it hits the ground? When it hits
Oh, just
the ground, it's like,
everything. As soon as I get off the plane, like just the air, just
I know. I know.
just the air alone and such like that. When you were working for Dog and Beth, was there a time where you're like, you know what, that's it, I'm out. I'm quitting. I'm not.
Oh, yes, many times. Yes, many times. I mean, her and I would wrangle over, silly, stupid stuff, um, and yeah, and yes, I once tried to give my resignation, and she goes, "I'm not accepting that. That is rejected. I am not. Take that back. I am not. I am not." So I ended up staying like another year, but by the time we got to the end of it, it was like 2016, and I was tired. We had a little place over in Waimanalo, like I said, and
Mhm.
but it was hard. I have grandchildren. My kids are here in California. I had a
Yeah,
house here. I had
yeah.
2 other businesses here,
Mhm.
and so I would go over and I'd stay for 3 weeks, and I'd come home for 2. Then I'd go
Yeah.
back for 3, and we'd do that. And then sometimes my husband would go over. He'd go for 3 weeks, and then I'd stay home. So it was
Mhm.
a little bit hard, but I have zero regrets and really
Mhm.
happy I did it. Yeah, her and I got in a wrangle one time, and I go, oh, let me show you how this is going to work. So I went over to the the car shipping place and I shipped my car home.
Oh,
And I
wow.
go, no, no, I am leaving. This is how I'll see you in California. Love you.
Aloha.
Yeah, aloha. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you ever get nervous, Bounty Honey?
I once in a while I do. And it's more, I don't think it's so much nervous as it is like super awareness.
Yeah.
Like you never know. They could come out and shoot you. And
Yeah.
it's real. It
Yeah.
is absolutely real. We were on a bounty and it was funny because talk about instincts.
Yeah.
This woman had some instincts. And we went out to this very rural property out in Alabama, and we were chasing a guy, and it took us 3 weeks to get him. And so it was a very rural piece of property. It had a lot of caves in it, so they can jump in caves, and the caves went all the way to the back. And I stood on the outside. She went into the trailer and where everyone was living, and she kept looking at me and she goes, he's here, he's here, he's here. And they're like, nope, we haven't seen him, he's not around, haven't seen him, he's here. So David's ripping the skirting off the trailer. We're looking all over, and it's pitch black. And and it's kind of a little creepy out there. So I've got the flashlights, and we're in, Leland's off in one other corner. So we ended up leaving about 2 hours later. The guy was in the wall.
Oh,
He
wow.
built a false wall, and his mother had him behind the wall.
Oh my gosh.
Beth kept saying to me, he's here.
Yeah, she could feel him.
She felt him.
Yeah.
She knew he was there, but what are you gonna do? Tear down, can't tear down the walls looking for the guy. So
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, but there's scared. I
Yeah.
get more afraid, of just the desperateness people can do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because they can get desperate, and
Mhm.
they don't even have to be part of the bounty. They
Yeah.
can be the neighbor that comes out
Anything.
to
Yeah.
talk on. Yeah.
Have you ever physically been hurt from a bounty?
No, I have not been physically hurt. I mean, I've been like sore, roughed up. Like we did a drive in through the Kona fields in
Oh, yeah.
on the Big Island. God, I couldn't walk for like 2 days. Like we were just literally in the there was no road where we were going,
Yep.
and I was trying to follow Mrs. Dog, so but yeah, my legs were so sore from just like bracing myself for trying to not roll the truck over.
With
But
shoes
no,
on, not heels.
no, yeah, I wear shoes, and she always used to get, why do you do it? I hate those shoes. I go, listen, you be beautiful, I'll be smart.
Yeah.
That's how this is gonna go.
Oh, because I know I saw one episode where Leland got hurt, like his ACL tore.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the bounty and that they did in Colorado. Yeah, he
Yeah.
kicked a fence and it tore the back of his leg. And Dakota on one of the first episodes jumped on the car on the guy that we were chasing for 21 days.
Yes.
So, and I know a lot of, he got a lot of criticism for that. And this is third generation bounty hunters that,
Yeah.
Cecily's there, and, so we're trying to teach them to not, you can't get emotional because
Hmm.
you'll make decisions like that. You can get yourself run over, and there
Yeah.
ain't no bail that's worth any of that. No.
No. It's probably like just adrenaline, just all of a sudden, like just making those moves. And you got to watch those moves because like even in January, I tore ligaments in my knee just from turning over quickly. Just to like I turned over quickly. I was on the phone and I turned over quickly and my
Yeah.
knee went one way, it went the other way,
Oh,
you
yes.
know? It,
Yes.
it, and it takes time. Like even now, I still can't bend at 100%.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's going to take quite a while,
Yeah.
that kind of
Yeah.
stuff.
So, I always wonder, I'm like, gosh, like watching you guys, I'm like, yeah, because, it brought me back to like, again, with Leland, how's his knee now? His leg
He's doing
situation?
okay.
Yeah.
It's been a year, but
Yeah.
and he's had like a couple of surgeries
Hmm.
on it too. But yeah, he was out of commission for a long time.
Yeah.
When you bounty hunt, you need to have your legs. That's for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. Because I'm like, oh no,
Yeah.
oh no. But he's got Jamie helping him. Like, I just love those two. They make such a, like,
Yeah.
such a cute couple, like
Yeah,
such a
I just
cute
talked to
couple
her this
together.
morning. Yeah, she's a sweetheart. She's like one of those really genuine souls. Like, we can all take pictures and we can all put stuff up and you can say, oh, it's this or that. But she's like one of those ones that is absolute genuine.
Yep.
And he's funny too. Him and I have the same birthday. So he always
Oh.
thinks that he's getting one over on me. Dude, I know how you think, so stop it. You know,
Yeah, you got fire in you, so
yeah, exactly. So yeah, you're not pulling one over on me. But yeah,
no.
she's all she's a sweetheart. And she
Yeah.
loves him and he really loves her. And I'm really
Yes.
glad we've been together, I think like 6 years now, 5 years, 6 years.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah,
it's
they're
good.
very well suited together. I think they're just so cute together. I really do.
Yeah. Yeah. He makes fun of her. She makes fun of him. It's funny. He makes fun of her accent. It's like, stop. Stop it. You love her, you know it.
So when you worked on like Dog and Beth on the Hunt,
Mm-hmm.
like how is that? Like, because that your first like television series you were
That was
in?
that was my first television series, and it was funny because I tried to avoid it as much as possible because I was like actually running. So like Dog the Bounty Hunter got canceled in 2012, and then Dog and Beth on the Hunt got picked up in 2013. So they
Mm.
started filming like right away,
Hmm.
and I didn't know that any of that was happening. So I was kind of like trying to avoid it a little bit. And the premise of that show was going to be a little bit different. They were going to actually go out to different bail agencies,
Hmm.
and they were going to help other bail agencies kind of get, because we actually got a lot of calls for just, hey, can you send Dog in? I've got this really tough one. So he would do a
Yeah.
lot of that anyway. So shoot, we'd build a show around it. So I did the episodes that were in Honolulu,
Hmm.
and then my husband did all the episodes that were all out of Honolulu. I think he did 2 of them in Honolulu, and then he went on the road with them
Yeah.
and actually traveled with them and did them. But yeah, it was interesting. I was never really, I never really fashioned myself as like a staunch, bounty hunter. I always liked talking people in because I could sell them kind of anything. So I was like, kind of come on in and we'll fix your stuff. And, I'd hook and book a couple of them, but
Yeah.
yeah, I pretty much like to talk them in.
You're good that way though. Like you have that type of energy that, whenever you're talking, let's say to somebody on the phone, people will kind of really listen, you know?
Well, there's 2 ways to go through a bounty hunt. You can either come in or we're going to drag you in. One way or the other way. So you figure it out, but yeah, I always try to like talk them in.
So what was one of the hardest lessons you have learned? I mean, we all have hard lessons. God knows I do, you know?
I think uh, the hardest thing that I have learned was to, I said this a lot, like when Beth got diagnosed, you give a problem to a bunch of problem solvers and they can't solve the problem. And that was probably one of the most humbling experiences ever.
Hmm.
And all I could do and be was just me. I could
Hmm.
I could just be me.
Yeah.
And even though the smallest of things she'd want, hand me this mascara, stay with me in the room tonight.
Mm.
Those small little things, she would always say, she liked those little tiny little medicine cups. And
Mm.
I would give her little protein drinks in these little cups. And she says, nobody would feed me like you do. Nobody cares. Nobody loves me like you do. And so I learned to be very soft with her,
Hmm.
very gentle. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Not get up, walk it off, not kind of how we would, probably do, certainly not someone with cancer. But uh,
Hmm.
so I learned to just take it as it came.
Hmm.
And how it was this morning will be different than how it's going to be this afternoon.
Yeah.
And she may absolutely detest me by the time we get to 5 o'clock. And I had to roll with all that. And, that was, you learn how to adapt for sure.
Yeah.
And I would only say to myself, whatever energy she has that she's uh, displaying right now,
Yeah.
thank God she has the energy to do that, because there's going
Yeah.
to be a day she doesn't.
Yeah. Because you sure have that motherly, energy about you. I've noticed that, like that caring, motherly energy that if, especially if somebody that, you care for, you'd be there. If somebody phoned you 2 o'clock in the morning, it's like, whatever the
Oh,
situation, you'd be like, you know what, I'm putting the coffee on, come on over, or I'll be there, give me 20 minutes. I can totally
absolutely.
see that with you,
Yeah.
Rainey.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, sleep can be had and all that stuff can be
Oh,
had, but sometimes you just need someone just to listen to you and hold your damn hand. And it
oh,
is just that simple,
yeah.
you
I,
know?
I can totally relate to that because, like, I mean, I'm the one that's normally helping others all the time. And, as I said earlier, when I had like 17 friends and both my dogs passed away, and then 2 years later, my dad and my best friend, I handled that all on my own. And, I remember when I contacted a friend and I'm like, and there's like, you should just go for counseling, you'll get over it. And I'm like, wow, so I get that. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? I just totally get that. And just to have
Most of the
somebody authentic.
Yeah, well, most of the time we will find our way through it. We just
Yeah.
have to hear ourselves say it as we find our way through it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, and it's I think that's because we tend to like to fix stuff and just kind of move on and let's pick up the pieces and let's go here. And some things take far longer than that. And it is a
Yeah.
journey, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. It,
Yeah.
it sure is.
Yeah.
It sure is. So now I've heard this, and I want you to explain it. Who's the dirty dozen?
Oh, the Dirty Dozen. Well, this was something him and Beth put up on the board uh, when they were trying to figure out a good name for the show. And the Dirty Dozen actually is all of the Chapman offspring, and then David and I, and Sonny and Kaleo. And so when you add it all together, there's 12 of us all together.
It makes total sense.
Yeah,
Like total sense.
yeah,
I think it's so cute.
yeah. Dirty
It's very
Dozen.
fitting. It's very fitting.
I know it ended up, it was really a magical thing. Uh, you know, Beth was very caring about when she loved you with her whole heart.
Yeah.
And it was very, even if she was just standing there screaming at you, you knew she loved you. And I don't, it's okay. Let's just get to the I love you part. Let's let's,
Uh,
let's fast forward to all this. I
yeah,
always go ahead.
no, but she was like the mama bear to the world, really.
Definitely. Definitely. She had a way, and when she wanted something, it was going to be like that. And it couldn't, even if the cup was turned just a little bit. And I would acquiesce to all of that stuff. You want the cup like this and not like that? Here it is, baby. There you go. There's you want your eggs cooked at 3 minutes and not 2 minutes? No problem, baby. That's what you got. But all those small little things to her meant you love me.
Yeah.
That's how she heard that, is that
Hmm.
I love you. I love you enough to spend 3 minutes on your egg and not 2. And as crazy as that sounds,
No,
that,
it's not. It's not
know,
because it says a lot. And I really think that she would kind of do that on purpose at times just to kind of test you. I
without a doubt,
really do.
without a doubt.
Yeah.
Without a doubt, we had an argument over minced garlic. Okay, it can't be that minced garlic. It has to be this minced garlic. And if it's not on the list at this minced garlic, don't get it. I said, you would have never let me in the house unless I had minced garlic. So, can have this conversation. Would you like me to go back to the store? No. Okay.
Oh, goodness. Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's so sweet, though. That's so sweet.
Tell me
Just
what I
like,
can do to make your life perfect. Tell me.
oh.
you know.
Oh, that's so sweet though. It like, see, there you go, like that's
Listen,
so
she do
awesome.
all the big things. I mean,
Mm,
when we went out on the road, this girl would get just the most beautiful places. She'd
mm,
make sure that, you know, like our bed was perfect. We'd have, like, every time I came, she'd have a big bouquet of flowers. She'd have a little thank you card. Here's a dress I bought. I mean, she really, and then I would do all the small things that got overlooked, like that, like her license plate that says Mrs. Dog.
yeah.
I got that for her.
Aw.
And it's funny, I had to go through like 4 bureaucracies to get that dang plate for her. They weren't going to get it. They said, no, Mrs. Dog is offensive. And I said, offensive to who? Oh, yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, they wouldn't issue it. So, but I ended up getting them. I had to go through Hawaii, then California, then Oregon,
Oh my
and then
gosh.
back to Hawaii. And I ended up getting the plate. And I got it the day before her birthday.
Aw,
It
see,
was perfect. She,
spirit listens.
I know, I'm
The
telling
the spirit does listen,
you.
right? That's amazing. That's
Yeah.
amazing. When you're on the show Dogs Most Wanted, were you concerned? Like, especially, oh, I'm sure you were though, especially with Beth, because she would push herself, and then here's Dog trying to keep himself together, emotions, and here's you, you know, trying to keep everything together is what I saw.
It was tough. It was
Yeah,
really hard because, he didn't want to believe.
yeah,
He would say, "Don't even say it," and he wouldn't entertain
yeah.
anything like that at all. Here's her medicine. You have to make sure, Rainey, every 4 hours. I go, "Don't worry, I'll do it. I'll do it." And I was more like,
Mhm.
she'll tell me when she wants it,
Yeah.
and then I would do it like that. And he was much more rigid. Like, we couldn't, but yeah, it was like there were a couple of moments that, we ended up getting in some arguments with some of the people in production, and it was harsh. They were
Mm.
so harsh with her, and I wasn't going to have it.
No.
I was not going to have that at all. And you're not going
Mm.
to talk to my friend like that. I realize that this is a show, but at the end of the day, I really don't care. This is
Yeah.
my friend. This is my friend. And,
Yeah.
so we ended up, that was a really tough night for her. But
Mm.
listen, you just sit in the front seat and you just
Yeah.
do your thing. You know what I mean? You just do
Wow.
your thing. So,
Yeah. Yeah. That's you don't know what to say at times, right? Of anything. It's just, I feel like even when I do shifts here now at the hospice, I find that the hardest part, of course, is the family and their friends,
yeah.
and where the patient, let's say, I find that if anything, that they're the ones that, they need somebody to talk to, and I find that they'll talk to you like, a little different, let's say, than their family or friends, because they might not tell their family and friends everything, you know?
Right. Right.
So
Yeah.
yeah, that's hard, the family and the friends.
Yeah, it was very hard,
Yeah.
I had so much empathy for where he was at. He
Mm-hmm.
was losing really essentially the love of his life, and he knew it.
Mm-hmm.
And she knew
Mm-hmm.
she was going to perish as well. And all the things that come in that whole thing, the anxiety, the what's going to happen, and how is it going to affect me, and who's going to take care of this, and who's going to take care of that. And ended up getting really, really protective over everybody at the very end of it when she passed. And I didn't want people touching her things, and I didn't want, people coming into the house. Like, she's not on display. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This was like something that was very personal and very very private. Like, we were at the house, we've got like the National Enquirer is jumping over taking pictures of me and Dog, and it's on the front page, like, just like crazy stuff, like crazy stuff. And they're
Mm-hmm.
lucky, like, I didn't really bring my ghetto girl out because I really wanted the ghetto girl to come out.
Yeah.
But, you know, it wasn't, so in being like just trying to surround him with as much love as possible, it was a brutal, brutal ending.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, you've been through those brutal endings as well.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the hardest things I think for people to reconcile is a couple of things. One is that this, she didn't look sick.
She looked really good. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Mm-hmm.
people found it very confusing that how can you look this good yet you're dead?
Yeah. Yeah.
And people struggled with that a lot. And I really felt like if she had lived well into her 50s, she would have had uh, like she was a magnificent singer. She
Yeah.
she could sing, and she, let me tell you, when we went into any capital, and I went into many with them, those governor doors would fly open, and senators would come out, and and she was good at a legislature and that kind of stuff. So, you know, and some of the other things, you know, I know Dog is getting a fair amount of criticism, you know, for, you know, his life now. You know, this is not something that this man signed up for.
Yeah.
I want to tell you that
Mm-hmm.
he was an excellent husband.
Yeah.
He stood there, and some of those moments were the toughest moments I'd ever seen in my life.
Mm.
And he never wavered,
No.
never.
No.
And
Yeah.
not an easy thing. He didn't
No.
volunteer for this position,
No.
and but he did everything he
No.
was supposed to.
Yeah, because he's such a strong guy that the whole situation with Beth, that's what I really see with him to be his biggest blow of anything.
Oh yeah, and I
Yeah,
mean,
of
and
anything.
this man has had a lot of loss in his life. I mean,
Yeah.
he's lost his daughter, his parents, his mother was, you know, very special to him. You know, he's lost, you know, monetarily, you know, things, and he's always managed to kind of reinvent himself, which is
Yeah.
really a beautiful lesson for
Yeah.
all of us.
Mm-hmm.
And I always say that, like, my lesson, I, every time I turn a new decade, I do a new, you know, I reinvent myself a little bit. But it's really tough to tell somebody that you're gonna be okay
Yeah.
when you don't know if they're gonna be okay.
That's right.
And it's
Yeah.
very hard. And
Yeah.
there were so many moments. My husband stayed with Dwayne about the first month after she
Mm-hmm.
passed. And
Yeah.
when we went over to Colorado, we stayed over there with him, and I was very grateful.
Yeah. Yeah. No, he's doing the best he can, with what he has, and nobody has the right to judge anybody because they're not in that position. And somebody might say, well, I went through that and that. It doesn't matter because everybody deals things in their own way. And
Yeah,
people have to respect that regardless of what decisions
yes.
anybody makes.
And you bring up a really valid point because I understand other people's perception of that
Yeah.
too. I feel like they feel that they are being uh, that they're like abandoning Beth or they're disloyal to her. And it really isn't about
Yeah.
that. Beth was here. She
Hmm.
was here with us.
Yeah.
And she does not want anyone to carry any of that. We should remember all the beauty that she brought and the
Yeah.
funny. And let me tell you, that girl could make me cry. She
Yeah.
could make me laugh and cry in the same sentence.
Yeah.
She was funny, and people loved her. They
Yeah.
loved her. And we should remember that part and
Mhm.
not compare what listen, if she was alive, we wouldn't even be having this conversation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He wouldn't be, you know,
Yeah.
seeking somebody else or
Absolutely.
anything like
Yeah.
that, you know. So
Yeah. And everybody has, like everybody deals with things differently. And, he's trying to grasp at something to move on with his life the best that he possibly can,
when you,
so
when you have a friend that you believe is more enhanced or a better version of himself
Mm-hmm.
when he has a need that is met. And
Yeah.
I'm not talking about a physical need, I'm talking about an emotional need. And some people are more connected to people, and he's like a really spiritual guy. So, and he gets a lot of energy off
Mm.
surrounding himself with people that he loves.
Yeah.
But a lot of us can't do what Beth did. And
Mm-hmm.
we can't. It's not my job. It's not my husband's job. It's not his kid's job. It's
Yeah.
so he has the right to live his life. He has that right. He's living. He's
Yeah.
67 years old. And we should love him
Mm. Yeah.
right where he stands, just like we did for her, right where she stood.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. When you put Beth Chapman Memorial Scholarship Program, did you talk to Beth before she passed about that, or how did this come
I
about,
did.
and what's that about?
Well, I didn't talk to her about this before, but she was a very staunch believer in, getting, she would say that often in the back seat, get your high school diploma. What are you doing? Go to school, and that kind of thing. And she was so proud when me, Cecily, and Beth all flew to Denver to get uh, baby Bonnie into college. And Beth was so proud of her, so proud of her that she was going to college, that she was going to do this, and it really was. And I remember those little moments that I had with her. Like, she like fixed up her little dorm and hung these little lights and got 1,000 thread count sheets. I mean, it meant a lot to her.
Mm.
And so education was something that she really, really liked. And when she passed away, I wanted something that could propel her legacy forward.
Mm.
And by, people completing the program, they would say, how did you get your GED? Well, I got it with the Beth Chapman Memorial
Mm.
Scholarship. And then that will get passed on. They will tell people. And then that's how we make her live.
Yeah, that's wonderful. That's truly amazing, because that will go on forever.
Will go on forever.
Yes.
And yeah, and I have the support of course, of Dwayne,
Yeah.
and his
Children.
significant other, Francie, which is
Yeah.
fabulous. And that was like one of the things that the first thing Francie said to
Mm.
me is, she goes, I will always honor your friend in the manner
Mm.
that she deserved.
Oh, that's wonderful.
How could you not love someone that said that to you? Well, listen,
Yeah.
that takes a monumental human being
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
be able to say that.
Yeah. Absolutely. And especially under the circumstances, I mean, it would have to be very important, to Dwayne, of course, because, that is forever in his heart, and that's never going to go away.
Ever,
Very sad.
never go away. And it just becomes a part of who you are. It doesn't become
Yeah.
all that you are.
Yeah.
It becomes a part of who you are,
Yeah.
and we want him to succeed and to love and to be respected
Happy.
and all that, all the
Happy.
things that he deserves,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, because people, they have a tendency to see a certain character, and then they expect that character to live the way they see that character to live. And
Yeah,
the minute that character doesn't live the way they see and want that character to live, they look a
right.
different way. And that, that's their problem, their issue. It has nothing to do with,
Yeah.
anything, because people have to live their life regardless. You know what I mean? So,
Oh, listen, and I've gotten a fair amount of criticism about, you're not the person I thought you were. You've abandoned Beth.
yeah,
And I realize that that's
yeah,
people's limitations on
yeah,
what they can receive at the moment.
yeah,
I'm in it. You're not.
yeah.
So you're kind of getting a version of what you perceive
Hmm.
is being true. And, I don't think there's anyone that I know of that wouldn't rather have her here.
Oh, of course,
That's not an option. So,
of course.
not having that option, we have to move forward.
Hmm.
you know.
Yeah. And are you in charge of Dog the Bounty Hunter store, like the merchandise and stuff like that?
I was for a long time. I kind of, I took that kind of over right after she passed away. And that was really a remarkable thing because everything actually went to her. She did it.
Mm-hmm.
She, had someone help put the packages together and all that stuff, but all the orders and stuff came through her. So when she passed away, I had to hack into her computer to get the emails,
Oh.
to get the orders, to get, oh my gosh, it was crazy. So, and yeah, so I ended up, it was never really my forte. It was never really my thing, to do the bounty store. It was like her little baby, but I always kind of kept it, helped her out and kept it
Mm-hmm.
afloat, And so now it's being, Dwayne has a group that is actually doing it. So, but I come in and, I'll throw a t-shirt on here and there and, you know, uh, and do that kind of stuff for them. So it remains, that was her baby.
Yeah.
She loved that thing.
Yeah.
She loved that store.
Yeah. Because I know that, of course, when the store got broken into in Colorado, that's just unthinkable for somebody to do that. But I mean, the karma will go right back on them. So do you think they'll catch the person? Like, because I
Well,
mean,
well,
yeah,
I mean, I suspect I already know who it is,
yeah,
and it's not one person; it's a couple,
yeah,
and it's one of those things. Like when I was talking earlier about, some of the losses,
yeah,
and this is one of them. This is one of the losses, and uh, the selling of the Hawaii house. That's another loss.
yeah.
Uh, so it really, out of all the things that have happened in a year, it's almost kind of like paled. He'll never get that stuff back that was hers. He'll never get
No,
that stuff back that was hers. There were people that were coming in and out of the house and took many things. And oh yeah, and it wasn't just the store. It was other. It was in the Hawaii house. We ran a few people off that jumped the fence, and
oh
went in and
God,
took a bunch of things. I mean, it was just crazy. Like I've never
yeah,
seen people like behave this way. Like I'm like, you realize you're stealing from somebody that's dead, right?
yeah. Yeah, I mean, what comes around goes around. It really does. And I mean, like to do something that
Yeah,
low.
right. And then to steal from him, like he's one of the most, that man he's actually a very simple person. He likes loyalty and he loves to be loved. And
Yeah,
he loves people around him that love him. And he actually can function on very little. Uh, but some things are very meaningful to him.
yeah. Oh,
And, when that stuff gets, like when they took some of Beth's items out of the Denver shop, and something that his mother gave him. It was this unique piece that his mom gave him. He's never going to get that. And even if you replaced it, it wouldn't have the mother, that feeling
no,
that
it's
my
not
mom
the
gave him.
same.
And so, I feel,
Yeah,
it's hard that's why I get like kind of super protective of
yeah,
him. And I
yeah,
hate to see people rail him over
yeah.
stuff that's really not that big of a deal,
I know, but it's just the energy from it all. You know what I mean? And
Oh yeah.
like it's that was just like of all things to do that to somebody like him, to him. Like those people are crazy to do
Right.
something like that.
Then right after that, those other people stepped forward and they were going to try to rip him off for,
Oh,
it was like 480 grand or something
oh
like
my
that. It was
God.
like some absurd amount of money. And this poor guy, like he just did not want to believe that at all.
Yeah,
And my husband and I did all the background on that. And I went, oh, this ain't real.
yeah,
This is where we're in. So then come to find out, my husband traced the IPs back, and then we figured out who it was and all that stuff. But you know, like how much? Like, are you just gonna keep heaping it on here? What the heck is going on?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you ever have dreams of Beth? Like, does she come into your dreams?
I had a dream about her the other night.
Oh,
Uh,
interesting.
yeah, and it was funny because she was in color and I was in black and white. That was
Oh,
interesting. She was always wore very colorful kind of things, but and I don't even remember what she was trying to tell me, but I had a very peaceful kind of feeling. But I actually smell her more.
Yep.
I smell her a lot. I smell her a lot. It was
Mm.
very hard when I had to pack up her house. I smell
Oh, yes.
tough, very tough.
That's, yeah.
But I couldn't imagine him doing it. He
No,
couldn't even go. He couldn't even go to the island.
no,
No.
no, no. Yeah, that's very difficult to deal with for sure. You know, if out of everything, what is your two best memories of Beth? I'm sure there's hundreds, but
Well, let's see. Uh, my two best memories. Oh my God, this girl. She was. Oh my God, I have so many. I have
yeah,
so many. But I would probably say. Um, I would probably say the moments, the time that her and I were just by ourselves, and we could be doing the weirdest thing or whatever. But I think just because she didn't have to be anything else other than just Mrs. Dog. That's all she had to be. And I think that didn't occur very often because, of who she was, and she always had to kind of be on. There was either people coming by or, she was out doing or whatever. So I always enjoyed those moments because, that girl could get real.
yeah.
She could get really real. Yeah.
Are you going to be doing anything for Beth's anniversary? Because it's hard to believe that June 26th is coming up so soon. Like we're already almost at the end of May.
Well, we actually did have something planned, and I'm not entirely sure that it's actually going to happen because of, you know, the pandemic that we have going on. And it's just
Yeah.
there's a lot of confusion right now
Mm.
over certain areas and certain things, and will we have access to it or not, or just kind of some crazy stuff. So it may roll out. I'm going to personally do something, but it will be something that I'll post. It
Yeah.
won't be anything that, but I believe that I'm encouraging her daughters to memorialize this in a way that will help them heal.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a one day at a time, one day at a time. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Good days and bad days and
Yes.
holidays and certain events. It's always going to trigger
Definitely.
anything. You know, the Bass Memorial was like amazing. It was so beautiful, and I mean it was just astounding, and it was so good that they actually could put it so everybody can see
Yeah.
it. Do you remember how many hits Beth had for that? Because it broke
Oh,
the record or something, didn't it?
yeah. It broke the record. I think that the one of the very first videos that we did right after she passed, like within the first day, it had like 15 million views. It was like incredible, and I'm not sure the stat numbers on that on the thing, but I'll bet you it's probably up around 75 million.
Wow.
75 could be 100 million. I don't know. Now, I know a lot of people sat and watched it a couple of
Yeah.
times. I still haven't been able to watch it.
No,
Yeah,
no. Yeah, I can relate to that. After I had so many people pass on me, I
yeah,
don't go to funerals. I stopped
yeah,
going to funerals. I can't. I just
yeah.
can't.
It's that was such it was such a it was probably one of the hardest things I ever had to do.
Yeah.
Imagine, I knew she was going to pass, and I kept saying to myself, how sad it was that I have this free time to write my friend's eulogy who is still living, and I knew that she was going to pass, and it was just hard. It was just
Yeah.
like, just so hard. She was so loved by so many people. I mean, she had her fair share of, we all do. But, you know, when death comes, people just stop saying that. and they
Yeah.
come, like, you realize how fragile life
Yeah.
is. And although it may appear to be super tough and diamond like and you can't chip away at it, it's really very
Yeah.
fragile. Yeah.
Yeah. It is. It's, I'm sitting back watching it and I'm like, oh, like the strength, that it takes to actually get up and say something like that.
I wasn't gonna let that pass. I made a big I was like, I don't care what you people do. This is what I'm doing. So,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? I'm gonna say this. This was my friend. I am saying this. It needs to be
Mm-hmm.
said. So, and there were, there was great people that were there. Shannon Tweed was there, Mary
Yeah.
Ellen Pollock spoke, a lot of people that, Beth had a lot of friends and was loved by a lot of people. And
Mm-hmm.
in the building itself, there was, just in that one room, there was 2,400 people. 2,400 people, and they had all the overflow, and then it was all out in the parking lot too. But it was
Mm-hmm.
great. I mean, everyone was so great. I was down at the actual place getting ready to do the thing, and I called my husband and I go into her closet and get a boot. Get a boot. What do you want the boot for? Now he's 13 years younger than me, so he doesn't remember when Kennedy got assassinated. I'm 60, so I remember that. And I said, so I go, I want you to get a boot, and then I want you to turn the boot upside down, and then I want you to put the boot on the grill of the car when you do the procession coming in. And that one photo ended up just being everywhere. And that's, your fallen soldier. And she was the main member of the Dirty Dozen. Now we're the
Wow.
Dirty 11 with an angelic drone.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, that's power. Like
yeah,
that, she has more power now.
definitely, definitely.
Is there going to be another season of Dogs Most Wanted? Do you know
I
yet, or?
know that that Dog's actually working on that, and they have been working on that for a while. And the network that we were on sold. It ended
Yeah.
up selling. So, and then they ended up changing it into a 24-hour news format. So we knew that it was kind of like it was going to be, when anyone, when you have a major star die in a show, there's always going to be, even though we knew it was coming, there's still going to be a major transition. So he's working on that part. I don't know. And then now with COVID stepping in, it's like that's halted everything. There's no
Oh,
production of anything that's going on.
yeah.
So I know that when he has something in the bag, he's gonna, he'll announce it out to
Yeah.
everybody. But I
What?
think that if it does happen, there's going to be some surprises.
Yes. And you're going to be a part of it, I'm hoping.
I will probably be a part of it. Yeah, I'll be
Yeah.
a part of it, and the husband will be a part of it, and
You
and
have to, Rainey.
yeah, and there will be some. Yeah, it's bittersweet for me.
Yeah, I know.
It's like hard to do things that
I know.
just remind me so much of her.
But you know what though? Like this whole COVID experience, of course, it gives everybody, depends who they are, that time to really come to terms with a lot of things and heal and a lot of
Yeah,
things. So,
yeah, you're right.
delays and stuff right now, it's actually a really good thing because by the time, another show gets going, you very well will be like, you know what, I want a new beginning, and Beth, she would want you to do that.
Oh yeah, I
She
mean
would want you to do that. She'd want you to be a part of it.
yeah, she would. I mean, she really would. She made it very clear when we went to do this season. She goes, "Oh no, oh no, 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 you're doing this. You're going to be doing this." I mean, she was silly like that, but yeah, I mean, I definitely, whatever direction it takes, the most important thing is that, my friend Dog knows that I'm his friend,
Yeah.
and that my husband is a friend. We support him in whatever he's doing, however it plays out for him. I'll
Yeah.
always love him, you know.
Absolutely. Are you going to go to the wedding if they do go through with the wedding?
I better get a damn invite. I, damn right. Yeah. Listen, she is really a genuine soul,
That's wonderful.
very
Hmm.
genuine soul. And
Yeah.
if there were ever any divine interventions that were going on,
Yeah.
yeah, I certainly wouldn't question that.
Yeah. Because,
You know, she's walked the same path as him. She was married prior, love of her life. You know, he had children, she had children, blended
mm-hmm.
family.
Yeah.
Died of the same cancer Beth did 6 months before. I mean, there's a lot of parallels.
Hmm.
And she gets how like all the personalities all kind of work together.
Yeah.
And, you know, if I don't mean to sound disrespectful at all,
No.
but in that family, I'm really nobody. I'm not a relative. I'm not married into the family. I was a friend. I was her friend. And she has made it very clear that I am the family and I am
Oh.
part of the family. You know what I mean? And that didn't have to be done. You know what I mean? That didn't have to be done at all.
Hmm.
And so I have the utmost respect for her. He's not an easy person
Yeah.
to, you know, he's got a big personality and likes, you know, certain things, certain ways and all that stuff. So
Hmm.
but she is a doll.
Yeah.
I just enjoy I've spoken to her now a couple of times, and every now and again, I'll send her a little text and just say, "You're a blessing to the family," and, you know,
Yeah.
a lot to her.
Yeah. Because things happen for reasons. I truly believe that, good and bad. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And especially, when two people connect, they connect for different reasons, different times for different
Yes,
reasons.
I agree. And, you know, she didn't volunteer for that either. She didn't volunteer to have her
Yeah.
husband, you know, pass away of cancer either.
Yeah.
And, you know, this is not like they had an affair.
Hmm.
They're both
Oh,
lost their spouses.
yeah.
And she gets it. She gets exactly where he's at. He
Hmm.
gets exactly where she's at. And
Hmm.
God love them. Her husband's name was Bob. So Bob and Beth, I'm sure they have the lawn chairs all spread out. Just cue up the barbecue, you know. I mean, whatever, you know, silly things that are, you know, going on. So, you know, I wish
Yeah.
them all love.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Yeah. I surrender everything, regardless what it is, and it's like, if this is going to happen, this is meant to happen. Things will just flow, and things will come together in place wherever I'm supposed to be, and
Oh
all of
yeah.
that. And I don't think twice about it. I really
Yeah.
don't.
That's a
Yeah.
tough lesson. That's a tough lesson to get. You know what I mean? Because we do like to control our own environments and then get disappointed when they don't, you know, turn out the
Yeah.
way we want them to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I learned the hard way many, 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 many moons ago, to surrender everything, everything. And, take the good and the bad, and see what lessons you learn from the bad, and everything,
Sure.
so now you have moved to
It's Merced. Yeah.
Merced.
Yeah.
how,
Merced. Yeah.
how how did you find your location where you wanted to move? Because I know there's a story around that, how that
Oh,
came
there
about.
is a story around that. Well, I lived in the Bay Area for years, and I lived in my last house for 20 years. And I really wanted to leave California, so I had an offer in at a house up in Washington. And so my daughter kept saying, "No, mama, mama, please just stay close, stay close." So I said, "Okay, well, let me just give this the old college try one more time." So we head down the freeway, and the husband ended up taking a wrong turn. We ended up in this cute little town. I go, "Oh my God, what town is this?" He goes, "It's Merced." So we drove to the town. I went, "Oh my God, this is like my vibe, my tribe. I love these people. So sweet and kind, you know, and just very nice. And everything was very affordable and it was perfect. And it was, you know, it's right down the road from my kids. So it worked out perfect. And then so I cashed everything out of the Bay Area and I moved down here.
Do you think that angelic drone kind of made you take that wrong turn to
Well,
go there?
well, she would know she was still living. I moved here a couple of years ago. But, well, she didn't want me to move to Washington. She goes, don't go too far. You have to
Oh,
be close. I said, well, I'm going to move to Texas. Don't go to Texas. I hate Texas. She didn't hate Texas, but she didn't want me to live there. She thought it would be too far.
wow. So somebody said to you, especially right now during this COVID situation, if they're like, Rainey, I'm so depressed, I'm so suicidal, I'm going through like whatever it is, what would you say to them?
Oh, well, what I would say to them is, why? Why are we doing that? That would be one thing. But I've been known to, I'll pick up the phone and call them. Give me your number. Give me your number
Yeah.
right now. And I'll call them, or I usually don't FaceTime with them, but I'll call them. Or I really like calling,
Mm.
because then we get to the heart of the matter.
Yeah.
What is it? And it's tough. It's tough because people are left with your own thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
You're left with your own routines. And it is very hard to sit in silence and not look at the condition of your life. And, for some people, that can be really daunting. And for other people, they look at it as, a new chapter.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, there's lots of people. Look, there's lots of people of us out here that we have
Mm-hmm.
peaks and valleys, every single one of us. And
Mm-hmm.
it's part of it.
Yeah. See, that's that motherly in you coming out again, that mother energy coming out.
Yeah, we're telling them, listen, find those bootstraps, pull them up, give them a tug.
if if you could change anything, one thing in this world, what would it be and why?
Oh, I would absolutely outlaw meanness. I would outlaw that in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
I'm baffled at why, and I am more baffled, more so under, our lockdown, of just how mean people can be. And I realize that's a little bit of the wounded animal kind of thing, and I get all that. And, part of it is feeling powerless in what it is we say. But, we all have to know that our words really can make someone turn on a dime. And it can go one way or it can go the other way. And why you'd want to participate in something that made someone go the other way is really
Mm-hmm.
baffling to me. So that would be the one thing that I would change, is
Mm-hmm.
just be kind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's so important nowadays. You know what I mean? And has this like situation like changed you um more spiritually, let's say, with the COVID? Like how is it, have you seen anything like differently within yourself or
I think that it's made me a little quieter,
mm-hmm,
where, you have to do a lot of self-reflection.
mm-hmm,
I was laughing with my husband because he's gone. He's gone a lot. He's out on bounties every day. He's only off one day. So, and I have a business, so I do it here from the house. I have an office, but I do it here from home. And I said, God, well, all these hours that I've spent alone, I said, turns out that I'm not quite as humorous as I thought I was. Like, I'm not even laughing at my own jokes anymore. It's horrendous. But I think that's it. And I think that we need that sometimes. Like, because you could just fast pace, man, just go, go. You got rent to pay. You got bills to pay. You better just bang.
yeah,
And then we don't have, and it's quiet. And you just sit.
yeah,
Well, how is it all shaped up lately? So, I don't think that and I think everyone's done that, a little self-reflection. It's good.
yeah, yeah, it is actually. If you could talk to somebody who has passed on or still alive that you haven't met, who would it be?
Oh, it would be Martin Luther King
Yeah.
Jr. My faves,
Mm,
like my faves. Like, I still watch his speeches,
mm,
and it's, he can make your soul shake. Just listen.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is that like what you do whenever you're like needing some time or and space? Do you listen to his speeches a little more or?
when I need perspective on your stuff ain't that bad.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, your stuff ain't that bad. So let's take a look at this, and you know, it's always good to draw yourself out of your own circle, so you can see the totality of everything. We are all pieces to a puzzle, and you got to make sure your little piece is shiny and all that stuff. But you got to make sure that your little neighbors are shiny too, and the
Mm-hmm.
corners all fit in, and because we're pieces and parts of a larger entity.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, I knew you and Beth used to make a cocktail
Yes.
together, and I've seen you made it. Can you tell everyone what that cocktail is and how that came about?
So it's actually a lychee martini is really what it is. And she was just a nutball over that. And in fact, we traveled with the cans of lychee because you couldn't get them everywhere. You couldn't get them everywhere. So, and it's just a couple shots of vodka and a couple of the lychee fruit. And then we use the juice in the can as the mixer. And that was it. And she
Yeah,
was just happy as a clam. She liked her little cocktails at
yeah.
certain hours, and we'd give her that. And of course, I always say the more cranky she was, the more light she would throw in the glass. Here, chew on that. Uh,
Yeah, because I saw that not long ago and I'm like, what was that? I thought I
yeah.
gotta try that. It looks
Oh,
actually
they're
fantastic.
delicious. I used to have a old guy that used to come into the Decline. I bailed his daughter out, and he'd bring in these big branches, like in these bags. And at first, I thought the guy was trying to kill me. I
Oh,
said, "What are these things?" They're all prickly. It was lychee. They're great. They're just great. They're like big fat grapes. Yeah,
wow. I am gonna try that. It is on my list.
perfect.
Now, if you could say anything at all to Beth, what would it be?
Oh, I did say something to her before she passed,
Mm,
and I said to her, uh, I said, "You have no idea how much you're loved."
mm.
And she said to me, "No, I don't."
Oh, oh.
And I know. And I said, and after she passed, about a month after she passed, I say to myself, do you see now? Do
Mm,
you see how much you're loved? Yeah.
yeah. And she would see everything,
Oh, yeah.
like everything, you know. But I've heard that before when because I have a friend of mine that is a film producer, like an Academy Award winner, and and every now and then I'll talk to him, and he'll say, God, just this PR, and I don't see the what it's for. He says, I really don't like doing it, and I'm like, and I, so he's very quiet, and he doesn't like the whole media thing. And I'm like, yeah, but you have to have that. Look how many people love you, and it confirms just how good your films are,
Right.
you
Right.
know?
Right.
And he says, I don't see that. I don't feel that,
Yeah.
where everybody can see, the greatness of the person. But yeah, I've seen that and I've heard that from other people.
I think for her, it was
Yeah.
interesting because she did receive, she got a fair amount of criticism. She was a controversial
Yeah.
person and she
Yeah.
would speak her mind.
Yeah.
And when she spoke her mind, that often will get backlash to it.
Mm-hmm.
And she was unapologetic, which she should be. And, and I'm not talking about attacking people or anything like that, but I'm talking about policy and, saying things that
Mm-hmm.
are important to us and important to her.
Mm-hmm.
And so she would receive a certain amount of God. I think one time she posted up this picture of her and Huckabee
Mm-hmm.
because she happened to be at the White House. And
Mm-hmm.
so Huckabee comes out and she takes a picture with her. Well, oh my gosh, like Beth was so crushed
Mm-hmm.
over all the negative comments. And she was like, I was talking to this woman about her shoes. And she goes, it was two girls talking about their shoes.
Yeah.
And, and so that's why it goes back to, being kind.
Yeah.
why is that just tough? Just like, if you don't have anything nice to say, just go move on. Don't
Yeah.
waste your time with that. Like, I don't know why you'd want to pollute your own body with
No,
that,
absolutely.
you know?
Absolutely. You know,
Yeah.
and it's so true because like even when I had my show, my weekly television show, and I mean I would book guests on it and interview them and produced it and stuff. And you know, there's always going to be people, because people would say, you know, what are you going to do if people don't like the show? And I said, you know, I said, I'm not worried about that.
Right.
You know, there's always going to be someone who loves you, who hates you, who likes
Right.
you, or whatever. And that has nothing to do with who I am, because I know who I am.
Right.
You know, and I mean, especially for Beth or for you or whoever, it's the same thing, I would say, because people, I've heard people say, well, their show, like Dog and Beth's show, it wasn't real, they were staging it. And I'm like, are you like crazy? You
Right.
can't stage
Right.
that.
Right.
Like,
Because we did all that in 45 minutes, right? It's
yeah,
like,
exactly.
I know.
Yeah, like
I've
I'm
had
just like, you know, people are going to think what they're going to think, they're going to believe what they're going to believe.
what can you
You
do?
know, are you going to write a book, Rainey? I do see that. So
Well, I don't know. I'm gonna. I'll contemplate that probably a little bit later. I want to wait and see. Like, I'm really super. I have a lot of trepidation and anxiety, and there will be a certain amount of relief once we get to June 26th. I
yes.
think this will be a little, like I was, talking to Cecily a little bit earlier. I go, baby, this is going to let some air out of the tire for you. It's going to, things will just kind of, they'll feel a little different.
Hmm.
And so I really just am focusing kind of on that. There's a lot of stories I could tell. Let me tell you what, there's a lot of stories I could tell, but and keeping it all in good,
Yeah.
good taste and all that,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. You know what I mean? And it'll be coming from you
Yeah.
anyways, and it'll be authentic and real. And that's why I love you guys, because you're authentic and you're real,
Right.
regardless.
Thank you. Yeah. I mean, look, what was that? That was almost, yeah, about a decade's worth of, just under a decade's worth of experience. So,
Yeah.
no, it's magic. It was,
Yeah.
magical. Some of the moments I thought, oh my God, I'm going to like, her and I are going to kill each other. I could just tell we're going to kill each. But, she was like funny. She'd say stuff. And then, 5 minutes later, she'd call and go, I love you. Or she'd yell at you and go, I love you.
Uh-huh.
Okay, woman. You know what I mean? I mean,
Yeah.
she was like that annoying little sister. I just loved her. And when she'd pout and all of that stuff, I had to get her whatever she wanted. She didn't ask for very much.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She didn't want her eggs scrambled like that. She
Yeah.
wanted me to, take her. Oh, she's,
Yeah. You could tell she was grateful for a lot of different things, even the littlest things.
the smallest thing.
Yeah.
That was the thing, is the
Yeah, I could see
smallest
that.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like those license plates I got for her cost me $25. It was the cheapest thing I ever bought her. And it was the thing she loved the most.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. So do you have any last words to say, um, to anybody or your fans or anybody about anything?
Well, I am so unexpected, uh, unexpected that I had the amount of, friend requests and follows and all of that stuff. And I realized that, I was, close to Beth, so I get the whole proximity thing. But how beautiful and how appreciative I am of everybody. I all often am credited for helping people through, the grieving process and all that. And everyone has actually helped me through the whole grieving process.
Yeah.
And it's still tough. There are moments that are still tough, but I enjoy it when people share, Beth would send me notes, or she meant this to me, or I remember that. And they'll go all the way back to like 2003 and tell you about the book signing and,
Hmm.
stuff like they'll never, and that means something. That means
Yeah.
that her thumbprint is on their soul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It always will be. And I mean, I'm sure she's around a lot of different people right now and doing the same thing,
Right.
you know?
I know. And what an example. What an example to, put out there. I'm not saying everyone has to be like that, but we can take lessons from all of that. You know, a lot of the stuff she said can be applicable in many situations. Pick
Yeah.
one, you know.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, I want to thank you, Rainey, for taking the time to talk to me today.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate it. I appreciate everything that you brought today.
Uh,
Absolutely. I appreciate the questions were even asked, and, you know, I appreciate your time.
oh, no worries. No worries at all. And I'm sure that we will see you out and about, on another show and doing your thing and
Definitely.
yeah, sure of it, really sure of it.
Definitely. Definitely.
Absolutely. And if anybody, I'm going to put also in on like the video and stuff like that, like Beth's memorial link and everything like that, so people can, help with that and
Thank
donate and
you. Thank you so much. It's
oh
mrsdog.org, and thank you so much. I appreciate that. We're, you
yeah.
know, we will get them one at a time, and it's really, we already picked our first group, and it's been very significant.
Hmm.
So
Oh,
super
that
excited
will
about
that
it.
will definitely continue on. And if anybody needs anybody, bail bond and surety and all of that, I'm putting that link all and everything for you
Perfect.
too.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So hang in there. And I want to thank everyone for watching another episode of Soul to Soul Connections with Jeni Ji. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel to catch more new exciting episodes soon to come. So I wanted to, again, thank you, Rainey, and sending everyone love and light. Until next time, keep holding the light within your soul and have the faith and know that everything is going to be okay, one day at a time. Amen. Thank you, Rainey.
Thank you.